Hello, so today I want to do a tour of my unread nonfiction books. I just got these under control. I separated out these books by category, and I do still have a bunch of unread nonfiction books downstairs in storage, but I isolated those to a few categories so that I could keep the majority of them up here, organized by category. And then the books that I left downstairs in storage were science, math, chess, and art, and maybe some homeschooling books. And then the rest are all organized here. And then up here, I have books that I have read, but it's time to reread because I haven't read them for so long. Or maybe I read them and I just want to reread them soon. So let me get started. So up here, I have all my poetry. And I guess I consider poetry nonfiction, but I think I could be wrong about that now that I rethink it. But I have Robert Frost, Walt Whitman, Emily Dickinson, Pushkin, T.S. Eliot, Rumi, and then just poetry guides because I find poetry extremely difficult, and I definitely need to do a lot of referencing before I can really understand a poem. I really do struggle with poetry analysis, but I do want to get better. And then I have some of these, Roger Houston books here, and I really enjoy them. He kind of isolates a few poems, and then he bases like little self-help books about them. And then I have all the kids' poetry books here as well, because I used them during homeschool, and I really enjoyed them, so I just kind of took them as my own books. And then this book I won when I was in, I think it was elementary school, for a reading contest, and I love it so much. I must have read it so many times. It was my first poetry book, and I really read it cover to cover many times. So it's time. It's been a while, so it's time to read that one again. That's why it's up there. And then I have How to Read Poetry Like a Professor, which I have tried reading this book so many times, and it's very complicated. I'm not a big fan yet, but again, I have not gotten very far into it. My favorite books on poetry analysis are these Spark Notes poetry classics. They do a really good job into going poet by poet and kind of doing a good analysis of each poet. And another book I really enjoyed was the Cliff Notes on American poets of the 20th century. But again, they're missing a lot of good poets because it's only American ones. But I always try to get guides so that I can just use them as I enjoy the poetry. And then other than poetry, my first section that's really nonfiction are my president's books, and I was finally able to fit them all on this shelf. Some of these might not be exactly presidents, they're more like American history books. And then I have 3 American history books here, and then anything related to American history or early American history is all up here, and then books that are specifically about one president are all there. Then I have Russian history. So I'm really big into Russian history, and I'm surprised I only have a few left. I guess I've been reading them a lot. So I have Peter the Great. I have some Orlando Figes, Lenin. And I tried to organize this by time period. Then Gorbachev, Khrushchev, and then the collapse of the Soviet Union, Putin, and the corruption that's been going on, and then communism. And then this book is written by Orlando Figes, and I just wanted to keep them together. So that's about Europeans, and then these books are about Ukraine. And then next I have books about World War I, World War II, fascism, politics, capitalism, and then COVID, the last presidency, and then more books on politics, military history, and then societal books. I haven't really gotten too much into that, but they are fascinating. And then down here, since they're so big, I have my graphic novels, nonfiction graphic novels. And then these are my books on climate change and Chomsky. And those are his political books. And then globalization, a lot of Michael Lewis. And I have my true crime books, like In Cold Blood and Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. I have my Isabel Wickerson's books on social issues, The Color of Law, and more books on economics. I think these are specifically more about economics. And then I just stuck all of my world events. So this is Vietnam, 9/11, Korea, North Korea, China, all those books there. Then next we have all my writing and reading books. So I really like reading books about reading. I find that very interesting. So I have a bunch here, and also directing, put that there. Comedy writing, writing memoirs, books by famous writers, and then book development. I do one day hope to become a writer, but it hasn't happened yet. And then I have some William Faulkner and Alice's books here. I have more. I wasn't sure how to break them up. My Steinbeck Critical Companion. I use this when I read Steinbeck. And then language books, language development. And then here I have, I guess, philosophy, Greek classics. This one I just kept here because it has a lot of Plato and Marcus Aurelius information, and also other Greek classics, which I have in the fiction section. Ethics, just various philosophies, my Aldous Huxley books on philosophy. And then religion. So I have some Buddhism, and then I have a little bit of Christianity. This was given to me by somebody because they said it was a really good book about Christianity, so I haven't read that yet. Let's see, this one is about brain development. So I believe this is about psychology. So these are all psychology, and more psychology, thinking, language, foreign language, Oliver Sacks. And then disabilities. Well, I don't know about disabilities, but various brain differences, dyslexic and autism books right here. And then I know I kept most of my biology books downstairs, but I have a few up here that I really want to read. So genetics, cells. I read his Sapien. I read all the books by this author. Cannot say his name. But I just got these graphic novels because I thought those were really cool. And I really liked Sapiens a lot, so I wanted to kind of experience it in a different format. And I haven't read origin stories, so I believe it's kind of similar to that kind of genre. And then behavior, teaching. I put some of the teaching books here. Intelligence, gifted development, brain, and health. So a lot of these are health and food books. So like breathing, sleeping, eating, calories, food politics. And then these are more health treatment books. And then keeping yourself alive, and then cancer. And then down here I have mostly biographies and memoirs and autobiographies. So Tesla, Steve Jobs. I read a lot of books by Walter Isaacson, but I haven't read these two. And then these are just general biography books, all about, this looks like a fun one, Bell Labs, Kurt Gödel, Boys on a Boat, Alan Turing, scientists. Some William Faulkner books that look like they were more biographical than criticism, so I put those there. Richard Feynman's letters. And then, what's this one? Oh, this is I actually did read this one maybe 10 years ago. I got from the library, and I got myself a copy at a thrift store, which it's time to reread again. And then these are more autobiographies. These are memoirs that I haven't read yet. I read about half of this one. It was really, really good. I don't know why I gave up, but I was really enjoying that. And then Joan Didion goes here. And then here are my reference books. These are Spark Notes on literature, short stories, women's literature, Nabokov's lectures, Susan Wise Bauer, and books about novels to read, books analyzing other authors and obscure books, and then more essays. And let's see, this one's really great. I read a lot of this one, almost most of it. This is Nick Hornby's. He's the author of High Fidelity and About a Boy, and he used to be this he used to write book reviews, and this is the collection of all his book reviews, and they are so funny. This book makes me want to become more active and talk about what I'm reading, because he was a huge inspiration to me. And books on general information and culture. And, these are kind of like something a day, like read this every day until you get through the entire year. So I have a bunch of those. And then these, I guess you'd call these self-help. And then marriage and family books here. And finally, the last shelf that I was able to fit into this room. These are all of my vocal training, acting, Broadway-related books. So I have female voice training, Broadway audition pieces, voice development, School of Rock. This is a musical that my kids tried out for this year. This is about Rogers and Hammertine, and I actually put the plays by the same authors up here above it, even though it should be in fiction. And then I do a lot of vocal training and musical theater as well, so I'm trying to get better at that. And then more acting here. I'm also a ballet dancer, so I have my ballet history books there, music. These are more technical about, this is opera, jazz music. This one I got from the publisher, and I read through maybe a third before I gave up, and I need to start over. This was a lot also about crime as well, but it was very interesting. And then I have David Bowie, Patti Smith, Bob Dylan, Freddie Mercury, Elton John, and then the classics here: Chopin, Brahms, Dvorak, Beethoven, Bach, and Mozart. So, and then I also have a bunch of books on art, which I am keeping downstairs. I have a massive amount of books on physics and chemistry and biology, which are all downstairs. A lot of books on math. So I kind of shoved all those in a cabinet, well, several cabinets, and because I really wanted to just keep their categories together. That way I know if I need a book on that topic, I can just go and get it from there. So now I know, I kind of have a better idea where everything is in the house. Well, thank you for watching.